All right, put the bottle down. Whatever store-bought sauce you've been reaching for, set it aside. Because Big Mama just walked in the room and she brought receipts. We are counting down 31 barbecue sauce tricks straight from the kind of grandmother who never measured a single thing in her life, but somehow made the best food you ever tasted. These are not gimmicks. These are real working hacks rooted in generations of Black cooking wisdom. Let's get into it. Number 31, use leftover pot liquor from your collard greens as a barbecue sauce base extender. That dark, smoky, salty liquid sitting at the bottom of your greens pot is liquid gold. Pour about a quarter cup into your sauce while it simmers, and it adds a depth of flavor that no store-bought ingredient can replicate. The pot liquor carries the essence of smoked ham hocks, onions, and vinegar already cooked down for hours, which means you are adding a fully developed flavor profile into your sauce without doing any extra work. It stretches your sauce further and makes it taste like it has been cooking all day, even when it has not. Number 30. Add a spoonful of Duke's mayonnaise into your barbecue sauce right before you brush it onto the meat. Now, before you look sideways at this, hear Big Mama out. The fat content in the mayo emulsifies into the sauce and creates a barrier on the meat surface that locks in moisture while the sugars in the sauce caramelize on the outside. This trick is specifically popular in Southern Black households because Duke's has been a staple in the Black South for generations. The result is a glossy, sticky coating on your ribs or chicken that looks like you spent 3 hours perfecting it. Number 29, stir a splash of Red Diamond sweet tea directly into your barbecue sauce. Sweet tea is not just a drink in Black Southern culture, it is practically a seasoning. The tannins in the black tea add a slight bitterness that balances out overly sweet sauce, while the sugar content already dissolved in the tea helps create that beautiful caramelized glaze during grilling. Use about 2 tablespoons per cup of sauce, stir it in while the sauce is warm, and let it reduce slightly so the flavors marry together properly. Number 28, use the drippings from your smoked turkey legs to thin out a thick barbecue sauce instead of adding water or broth. Turkey leg drippings are intensely smoky and carry seasoning from the rub you applied before cooking. Adding water to barbecue sauce just dilutes flavor. But turkey drippings thin the consistency while simultaneously doubling down on smokiness. Collect those drippings in a cup during your cook, skim off some of the fat, and whisk a few tablespoons into your sauce over low heat. This is the kind of move that makes people ask you what your secret is. Number 27. Scrape the bottom of your cast iron skillet after cooking smothered pork chops and deglaze it with your barbecue sauce. Those brown bits stuck to the bottom of the pan, called fond, are concentrated, caramelized meat proteins and seasoning. Pour your sauce directly into the hot pan, use a wooden spoon to scrape everything up, and let it bubble for about 2 minutes. The sauce absorbs all of that flavor and develops a richness that you simply cannot achieve by simmering sauce in a regular pot. This move right here is why Nana's barbecue sauce tasted different from everyone else's. Number 26, add a heaping spoonful of your leftover candied yam syrup into your barbecue sauce. The syrup from candied yams already contains butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg, all cooked together into a thick, fragrant liquid. Stirring 2 to 3 tablespoons of this into your sauce at the end of cooking adds a warm, sweet complexity that tastes like the holidays in a bottle. This works especially well when you are doing a slow-baked chicken in the oven and you want that sauce to have a slightly sweet Southern soul food personality. Number 25, use Kool-Aid powder as a secret sweetener and color enhancer in your barbecue sauce. Now, Big Mama was ahead of her time with this one. A small pinch of cherry or grape unsweetened Kool-Aid powder dissolved into your sauce adds a vibrant color of fruity tartness and sweetness all at once. You only need about a 1/4 teaspoon per cup of sauce because it is concentrated. The citric acid in Kool-Aid also acts as a natural preservative that extends how long your homemade sauce stays fresh in the fridge. This is a real trick used in competition barbecue circles, and it has deep roots in Black community cooking culture. Number 24, blend roasted jalapenos that you charred directly on your stove burner into your barbecue sauce for smoky heat without a smoker. Lay the jalapenos directly on the gas flame or right under your broiler until the skin is completely black on all sides. Seal them in a plastic bag for 10 minutes so the steam loosens the skin, then peel them and blend the flesh into your sauce. The char on the pepper skin contributes an actual wood fire smoke note that transforms a basic ketchup-based sauce into something that tastes like it came off a real pit. This trick is how apartment-dwelling folks get that cookout flavor without a backyard. Number 23, stir in a tablespoon of pickle juice from a jar of dill pickles to brighten up a flat-tasting barbecue sauce. Vinegar-based tang is the backbone of most great Southern barbecue sauces, but plain vinegar can be one-dimensional. Pickle juice brings vinegar plus salt plus dill plus garlic all in 1 tablespoon. It wakes up the entire sauce and makes every other flavor in there more pronounced. This is the same principle behind why Big Mama always kept pickle juice in the fridge for everything from fried chicken brines to potato salad dressing. Never throw that jar away. Number 22, caramelize a full yellow onion in butter until it is deep golden brown and stir it directly into your blended barbecue sauce. Raw onion in sauce can leave a sharp, harsh flavor that never fully cooks out. But when you slowly caramelize onion and butter over low heat for about 40 minutes, the natural sugars break down completely into something sweet, savory, and deeply aromatic. Blend that caramelized onion directly into your sauce with an immersion blender so it disappears into the texture. This is the technique that gives homemade sauce that full-body restaurant quality foundation. Number 21. Use a splash of Louisiana hot sauce rather than cayenne powder when you want heat in your barbecue sauce. Louisiana style hot sauce, the kind with vinegar and aged peppers, integrates into sauce differently than dry cayenne does. Dry cayenne can create hot spots and uneven heat distribution, but Louisiana hot sauce disperses evenly throughout the entire sauce because it is already a liquid. Beyond that, the fermented vinegar base adds a complexity and tang that pure cayenne simply cannot provide. Use about a tablespoon per cup of sauce and taste as you go. Number 20, reduce a can of Pepsi or Coca-Cola in a saucepan until it is thick like syrup and use it as your sweetener base instead of regular sugar. Soda caramel is a real thing and it is used in professional kitchens. Pour 1 full can of cola into a small saucepan, bring it to a medium boil, and let it reduce down to about 3 tablespoons of thick syrup. This takes roughly 15 minutes. What you end up with is an intensely concentrated cola caramel that carries hints of vanilla, cinnamon, and phosphoric acid tang. Stir this into your sauce base, and it creates layers of sweetness that plain white sugar never could. Number 19, add a spoonful of peanut butter into your barbecue sauce to create a thicker, nutty, deeply savory glaze for chicken wings. This might sound unusual, but peanuts and peanut products have been central to African American cooking since before the Civil War, with George Washington Carver famously advancing peanut agriculture. The fat in peanut butter adds body to the sauce, while the roasted peanut flavor pairs beautifully with tomato and vinegar. Use creamy natural peanut butter, just 1 tablespoon per cup, and whisk it into warm sauce until fully incorporated. It thickens the sauce and creates an incredible sticky coating on wings. Number 18, steep 2 bags of Louisiana or Lipton sweet tea directly in your warm barbecue sauce for 5 minutes before removing them. This is different from number 29 because you are using the tea bags themselves like you would steep an actual pot of tea. The tannins extract directly into the warm sauce, and add a refined bitterness and astringency that cuts through sweetness and fat. This technique makes your barbecue sauce taste more complex and layered rather than just one note sweet. Remove the bags, give the sauce a stir, and taste the difference immediately. Number 17, use the seasoned oil left in your can of sardines or mackerel to add a savory depth to your barbecue sauce. Before you scroll past this one, understand that adding tiny amounts of fish-based ingredients to meat sauces and rubs is an ancient cooking technique used across African and African American cuisine. You are not making the sauce taste like fish. You are adding glutamates, which are the naturally occurring compounds responsible for deep savory flavor. Just 1 teaspoon of that seasoned sardine oil stirred into a cup of sauce is undetectable as fish, but massively increases the overall savoriness of everything on the grill. Number 16, grate a small piece of fresh ginger root directly into your barbecue sauce for a warm aromatic heat that works differently than pepper. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogaols that create a warm heat sensation that starts slow and builds gradually, unlike the sharp, immediate burn of chili peppers. Beyond the heat, ginger adds brightness and an aromatic quality that makes barbecue sauce feel more vibrant and alive. Use a microplane to grate about a half teaspoon of fresh ginger per cup of sauce. Stir it in during the last 5 minutes of simmering so the volatile oils are not cooked away. Number 15, roast a full head of garlic wrapped in foil with olive oil at 400 degrees for 45 minutes and squeeze the entire head into your barbecue sauce. Raw garlic in sauce can turn bitter and harsh after long cooking times, especially when you are basting meat on a hot grill. Roasted garlic, by contrast, becomes sweet, buttery, and mellow. Squeezing an entire roasted head into one batch of sauce gives you about 12 cloves of fully transformed garlic that melt right into the sauce without any harsh bite. This is the difference between sauce that tastes sharp and sauce that tastes rich and developed. Number 14, simmer your barbecue sauce with a cinnamon stick for 20 minutes and remove it before serving. Cinnamon is already present in many spice rubs used in Black Southern cooking, especially when pork is involved. But adding a whole cinnamon stick to your simmering sauce rather than ground cinnamon gives you a more subtle, refined warmth rather than an obvious spice punch. The whole stick slowly releases its oils over time, and those oils weave into every molecule of the sauce. Remove the stick before you bottle or serve the sauce, and people will taste something familiar but not be able to name exactly what it is. Number 13, add a tablespoon of your leftover red beans and rice cooking liquid to your barbecue sauce for a Creole-inspired depth. If you have been cooking red beans with andouille sausage, onions, bell pepper, celery, garlic, and bay leaves all day, the liquid in that pot is stacked with flavor. This is a technique deeply rooted in Louisiana Black Creole cooking traditions. Stir a couple tablespoons into your sauce base while it simmers, and it introduces all of those Creole aromatics without you having to chop a single extra ingredient. It creates a beautiful bridge between the barbecue and the side dish. Number 12, add freshly squeezed orange juice instead of apple cider vinegar as your acid component for a sweeter, fruitier tang. Citrus has been paired with grilled and smoked meats in African and Caribbean cooking for centuries. Orange juice brings acid, natural sugar, and aromatic citrus oils all in one ingredient. Use about 3 tablespoons of fresh squeezed orange juice per cup of sauce and stir it in during the last few minutes of simmering. The vitamin C in the citrus also helps tenderize the surface of the meat when used as a base, which means your chicken or ribs will be more tender where the sauce touches them. Number 11, blend roasted red bell peppers from a jar into your barbecue sauce base to add sweetness, body, and a beautiful brick red color. Roasted red peppers are a pantry staple in many Black households because they are versatile, affordable, and deeply flavorful. Blending 2 roasted peppers into a standard batch of barbecue sauce adds natural sweetness without extra sugar, creates a thicker body without cornstarch or flour, and gives the sauce an almost velvety texture that coats the back of a spoon beautifully. This is the kind of technique that makes your sauce look and feel like a restaurant product, even when you made it at home. Number 10, use a splash of leftover peach cobbler juice, the thick syrupy liquid at the bottom of the pan, as a finishing sweetener in your barbecue sauce. Peach cobbler juice already contains cooked down peach sugars, cinnamon, nutmeg, butter, and vanilla, all married together in a concentrated form. Adding 2 tablespoons to your finished barbecue sauce right before removing it from heat creates a warm, fruity sweetness that is unmistakably Southern and unmistakably soulful. This works especially well on grilled chicken thighs, where the fruit-forward sweetness pairs naturally with the char and smokiness of the grill. Number 9, use smoked paprika in combination with a tiny pinch of ground cloves to build your sauce's spice foundation instead of plain paprika. Plain paprika adds color but not much flavor. Smoked paprika brings a rich wood fire taste that is irreplaceable in barbecue sauce, but adding a small pinch of ground cloves alongside it creates a warm, slightly sweet, almost mysterious backdrop that you cannot quite identify, but that makes the sauce feel deeply complex. Big Mama called it her little secret, and she never told a soul what it was until she sat down and decided somebody in the family needed to know. Number 8, reduce chicken or beef drippings with onion and garlic into a concentrated fond paste and use it as the savory base of your sauce before adding ketchup or tomatoes. This is essentially making a quick meat-based roux as your sauce foundation. After roasting chicken or beef, drain the drippings into a small pan. Saute minced onion and garlic in those drippings until deeply golden. Then let it all reduce until it forms a thick caramelized paste. Now build your barbecue sauce on top of this paste by adding your tomato base, sweetener, and acid. Everything else you add will be anchored by this incredible savory foundation. Number 7, freeze your finished barbecue sauce in ice cube trays so you always have perfectly portioned amounts ready to thaw when you need them. This is a technique that professional cooks use, but home cooks rarely think about. Pour your cooled sauce into ice cube trays, freeze solid, then pop the cubes out and store them in a freezer bag. Each cube is roughly 2 tablespoons, which is the perfect amount for a single piece of chicken or a small basting session. This eliminates waste, preserves the sauce at peak freshness, and means you can have fresh tasting homemade barbecue sauce available any day of the week without making a whole new batch. Number 6, add a spoonful of molasses right at the end of cooking your barbecue sauce rather than the beginning to preserve its complex flavor. Molasses is a cornerstone ingredient in Black Southern cooking, and it is the backbone of many traditional barbecue sauces. But when you add molasses at the start of cooking and simmer it for a long time, the more delicate flavor notes burn off and you are left with just the bitterness. Adding molasses in the final 2 minutes of cooking right before you remove the sauce from heat preserves all of its complexity, including those notes of dark fruit, caramel, and minerals that make it so special. Number 5, use a fine mesh strainer to press and strain your finished barbecue sauce for a smoother, more refined consistency that clings to meat better. After you have simmered all your aromatics and spices into the sauce, the texture can be slightly rough or chunky. Pressing the sauce through a fine mesh strainer removes any fibrous bits, seed skins, or undissolved spice particles and produces a silk smooth sauce that adheres to meat more evenly during basting. This is the technique that gives professional and competition barbecue sauces that polish, glossy, magazine-worthy appearance. One extra step that makes a dramatic visual difference. Number 4, toast your dry spices in a dry pan for 60 seconds before adding them to your sauce to activate their volatile oils and dramatically increase their aroma. Cumin, coriander, allspice, and black pepper all contain essential oils locked inside their cell structures. These oils are what carry flavor, applying dry heat to the spices before adding them to liquid cracks. The cell walls open and releases those oils so they infuse into the sauce much more completely. Pour your dry spices into a hot, dry pan. Shake them for about 60 seconds until you can smell them blooming. Then add them immediately to your sauce base. The difference in aroma alone is remarkable. Number 3, add a small piece of dark chocolate, just a 1/4 ounce, to your barbecue sauce while it simmers for a deeply complex, barely there richness that no one will ever identify. This technique is rooted in mole sauce traditions that have parallel connections to African diasporic cooking across the American South and the Caribbean. Dark chocolate does not make your sauce taste like chocolate. What it does is add iron-rich bitterness, natural fat, and deep-roasted flavors that create a backdrop of complexity behind every other flavor in the sauce. Use 70% cacao or higher and let it melt completely before tasting for seasoning adjustments. Number 2, baste your meat with barbecue sauce during the last 10 to 15 minutes of cooking only, never earlier, so the sugars caramelize into a glaze rather than burning into a bitter char. This is one of the most important technical rules in barbecue cooking, and it is something that experienced Black pit masters have understood for generations. Sugar burns at around 320 degrees Fahrenheit. If you apply sauce too early over high heat, the sugars will carbonize into a bitter black crust rather than a sweet, sticky glaze. Wait until your meat is fully cooked through. Bring the heat down to medium, then apply sauce in thin layers every 3 minutes, building up a deep lacquered finish with each pass. Number 1, and here it is, the trick that Grandma kept to herself until the very last Sunday dinner. Use reserved barbecue sauce that has never touched raw meat as a finishing sauce served warm at the table rather than just a cooking sauce. This means making 2 portions of your sauce every single time. 1 portion goes into the base and absorbs all the smoke and char and drippings from the grill. The other portion stays clean in a saucepan, gets warmed gently with a knob of butter, stirred in at the end for richness, and gets served alongside the finished meat. The table sauce is brighter, cleaner, and silkier than the cooked-on sauce, and together they create 2 completely different but complementary flavor experiences that make your barbecue taste like something people will talk about long after the plates are cleared. That is all 31 tricks straight from the barbecue wisdom of Black grandmothers who never needed a recipe card to feed an entire neighborhood. From pot liquor to peach cobbler juice to dark chocolate, every single one of these hacks works because it is rooted in real cooking knowledge passed down through generations of feeding families with love, creativity, and whatever was on hand. Try even 5 of these at your next cookout and watch what happens. Subscribe because there are plenty more secrets coming and Big Mama's not done teaching yet.